Welcome back to Your Fantasy Nerd, where today we're going to be talking about the biggest risers in some of our personal rankings. So to start it off, I'll go first. The biggest guy who's made the biggest jump from my original May rankings to now is Justin Forsett. I originally had him at 22. Now I have him at 12. The reason being, I didn't really think about the offense he was moving to. The Mark Trestman moving in Baltimore. He had a great season last year. I thought maybe the age would catch up to him, but now looking at it, he's got no competition in the backfield. Mark Trestman's offense clearly was not Forte. Pass-catching offense, Forte, I believe, top 3 running back in fantasy. So why not Forsett? I think he could be the 12th best running back.
He's also my first riser from 20 to 12 for the same reasons. He's going to be a big part in that offense, catching the ball, like Connor said. So I just look for him to have a big year, and I think he actually could slip into the top 10 fantasy-wise at some point.
Yeah, he's definitely a sleeper that a lot of people are noticing now, but I think we're giving him.
He had a good year too, a quiet, very good year.
Yeah, he did. The next guy for me, I actually had a bigger jump, but not as high ranked, is Tevin Coleman. Originally 35 on my rankings to now 20. Reason being, I thought Devontae Freeman would be more of a make it more competitive for Coleman. Maybe he wouldn't get touches early on, but I think it's clear that Devontae Freeman is not their running back. He was drafted in the 4th round of 2 years ago's draft, so I don't think that he is the answer, and I think they're going to let Coleman run away with it, and if he does, he's got RB2 potential. So I have him at 20.
My number 2 riser with Frank Gore, 21 to 13, and I think he's going to have a pretty big role in that Indianapolis offense. I know they're going to be a very pass-heavy offense, but I think when they get down to the goal line, you can look for them to just power the ball and open up the. Their goal is going to probably be to open up the play action, but to need that, you're going to need a good running game. And Ahmad Bradshaw had a pretty good weeks there before he got injured, and I think that he'll do the same there in the Indianapolis offense.
Yeah, Bradshaw, that's a good point. He could fill that obvious role from Bradshaw, and Bradshaw's not even the best athlete. So at wide receiver, my number 1 guy is Keenan Allen, actually, 33 to 23. Reason being, I looked at Keenan Allen. I still kind of don't think he's a great talent. I don't think he's all that great, but now that Antonio Gates is suspended, I think that it really helps him out being one of the sole offensive threats in that offense. While he's moving up to 23, he's a low-end wide receiver too. I still don't love the passing game in San Diego for this season, but I think Keenan Allen benefits a lot from Gates being suspended. More of a touchdown threat now.
My number 1 guy is Jordan Matthews from 36 to 19, and I don't know why I had him so low to start with, but I realized that he's a stud. He had very good weeks as a rookie in the Eagles system. I think that he should be their number 1 wide receiver, and I look for him to have a huge year now that Macklin's gone. I think that he'll just produce a ton for them.
Yeah, the next guy at wide receiver for me is the guy I've kind of been building up a lot, Odell Beckham. I went from number 8 to actually number 2. He's no longer number 1, thought he would be, but I moved him to 2. Reason being, the guy's just a freak of nature. I think that what Beckham can do on the field is just amazing. I think he's the next crop of the number 1 of the next crop of great receivers. I think he can fulfill that number 1 role in the Giants' offense. I think they're clearly going to be better with Vereen there, obviously getting Cruz back. So I think that benefits Beckham, and I like him as the number 2 receiver now.
I have Keenan Allen as my number 2 from 32 to 22 for a lot of the same reasons, but I don't actually think the Gates thing's going to be that devastating. I think it actually won't help him that much because I think Ladarius Green's going to be a very good tight end and put up not as good of numbers as Antonio Gates, but pretty solid numbers. But I think that he's just obviously going to be the number 1 back there, and Rivers loves to throw the ball. Now that they got somewhat of a run game with Gordon, they hope. I think that he's going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups where he can produce in.
Yeah. And the next guy, final wide receiver, Vincent Jackson, going from 28 to 24. Not a terribly high jump, but I looked at his stats. I mean, the guy got 1,000 yards last year and 2 touchdowns. He only had 2 touchdowns last year. There's no way he gets less than 2 touchdowns or less again. I think he's a great talent still. He's up there in age slightly, but I'm not too worried about that. Only like 31 or 32, and obviously the Jameis Winston, getting him in the offseason, I think will really benefit both Evans and Jackson. So I think Vincent Jackson could get up to 6 or 7 touchdowns this year. Definitely a guy I'm looking at for my wide receiver too.
My last riser is Amari Cooper from 26 to 20. Not a huge jump, but a substantial jump. I think this because he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver. He was the number 1 wide receiver taken in the draft for a reason. And with Derek Carr, who had a very good season last year, I think that he's going to want to throw and get the chemistry together early, and I think that's what they'll do. I think he'll produce a lot in the terrible Raiders offense.
It's true. He probably will get Sammy Watkins like targets. So, and the final guy for me at tight end. Tight end, you don't see too much moving and shaking, but here it's Jordan Cameron going from 11 to 8. He's very injury prone. I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's going to get injured probably at some point next season. But I think what he does on the field is amazing, especially now moving to a way better offense in Miami. Tannehill's probably going to look to him as his probably second target behind Landry. But I think that Cameron's definitely become a red zone threat, and I think this is a good spot for him at 8. I think this is a good position for tight end.
My riser, I'll do tight end as well. I have Daniel's going from the outside of my top 15 to 11. That acquisition flew under the radar, what Denver did, and I think he'll be just as good in that offense as Julius Thomas did, and I think he's going to have a very good year, and that one just flew by me in the rankings, and he could slip into the top 10 too before the season starts.
Yeah, I looked at Owen Daniels kind of similarly to the way you did, but now I'm kind of hearing a little Virgil Green action. I don't know exactly. We'll see in the preseason how it happens, but Daniels is definitely older, so Virgil Green's there. I don't know what's going to go on, but like you said, if he does fill that Julius Thomas role, definite riser. So that'll wrap it up for our biggest risers and our personal rankings. You can go ahead and subscribe to us at Your Fantasy Nerd, like it, and comment as well. Tell us what you guys think. Do you guys agree, disagree? We love to see the comments. So thanks for watching, folks.